Yeah. You ready? Hey!
At 13 minutes past 7, you're watching Breakfast. Very good morning to you. Thanks for watching. A long-awaited plan on integration in England will be published by the government today, over a year after an independent review found the country had become more divided as it had become more diverse.
So what are the proposals? Well, first, to allow 5 key areas, Bradford, Waltham Forest in London, Peterborough, Walsall and Blackburn, to adopt their own integration plans.
The introduction of personalised skills training to help women in isolated communities find work, to ensure schools are teaching British values and mixing pupils from different ethnic and religious backgrounds.
And to promote the English language across all communities in England. Well, with us now is Maya Ghazal, who moved to Birmingham from Syria in 2015, and Mike Omoniyi, CEO of the TCS Network. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for coming in. Well, give us your own experience, Mike. What was it like for you?
Come to this country.
Yeah.
Okay, so I came to the country. I learned English in school and stuff like that. Pretty much everyone else's experience. My main issue with Dame Louise Caseys' kind of comments is that it kind of puts blame or responsibility on the wrong people. So I think 15 million seems like a really good amount of money to spend on integration. And I guess one thing welcomed in her report is that, yes, integration is a vital part of multiculturalism and stuff like that, which is fine. However, it seems to put blame on people like, say, me and people who came to this country, say, as refugees, for instance, or people who just came looking for a better life, to say that they're not doing enough when really poverty is a much bigger issue for learning English and attainment and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't grow up in the richest household, so there's difficulties in terms of learning English, attaining that kind of stuff. And this report seems to miss that element, I would say.
Maya, let's just talk about your story, because when you arrived here, when you were how old? 15?
I was 16.
You were 16, yeah. And at that point, you spoke very little English. What was it like for you arriving then?
For me, arriving, other from my very great expectations and imagination of like a basket of chocolate to my door step. It was quite difficult because I applied for like 3 schools in a college and I got rejected because they didn't quite get how big my knowledge is and if it's suitable for a school-like level. I had my GCSEs from Syria and I told them that they can test me and check my knowledge, but it was like all rejected. And I think it was the biggest thing that made that barrier is because I didn't really speak that much of confident English. It was just talking bits and pieces of what I've heard people talking around me.
And obviously, how did you learn, because you speak beautiful English, obviously, how did you learn? What was the most effective way of learning it, and learning it quickly, which is what you did?
I think it's really, it comes to the person, and the person really very determined to learn a language and exceed at it, and eventually, because you want to blend in with your community. I was like 16 and I expected to have friends innocently, and I wanted that to happen, so I really worked hard. Like I stopped using Arabic. I read English books, I listened to English songs, and I translated everything just back in English language. I checked dictionaries. So I wanted to work hard on that because I wanted to carry on with education. It was like, because education is like future and it's something very important for me.
It's really interesting you say that. We're going to speak to Sajid Javid, the Community Secretary, a little bit later on, and he's given an interview today and he talks about his mother learning English at the age of 15 and what difference that made to her. He also says, and these are direct quotes from him, Cabinet Minister whose father was a bus driver, a Pakistani bus driver, he said he went through his childhood, he was, in his words, being called a Paki and being physically attacked for being of a different colour. Now, there's money being put into teaching people English, £50 million. I wonder whether the next generation of young Pakistanis growing up will have to go through what he went through.
Well, hopefully not. I think this is one issue. This is one issue where I think rhetoric actually matters. So, with Brexit and stuff like that, we saw a rise in hate crime after that. And I think some statements, i.e., people should learn English before this arbitrary date, that kind of harbors this sentiment and can kind of exacerbate xenophobia in a kind of way, because people aren't encouraged to learn English. They're told you have to learn it before this time, or you can't be in this country. And I don't think that's the way to do it. I think what you got to do is properly invest into education, really try and tackle poverty. Those are the things that really hold people back from, one, learning a new language, but also being active contributors to their society. So with Joseph Rowntree, well-known organisation, saying that now 1 in 5 children are in poverty, 400,000 children and 300,000 pensioners. That seems to be where the real issue should be. And as much as I love the government, because this is a good step in the right direction, I think in a way you can see it as smoke and mirrors, because what we ought to see is properly funded education, which again, Institute of Fiscal Studies said that there would be a 6.5 reduced spending on each student over the next 2 years if the government doesn't change course. So I think we have to make sure we're looking at the right places, not just community integration, but also education. I think that's where you tackle the real issue.
Both Mike and Maya, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Breakfast this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you. Let's find out what's happening.